About 9 months ago, I lost my husband unexpectedly. For those of you who have been following, know that Tuesdays is our special day. I call it now my Q day. A reminder pops up on my phone to have a date with my husband. We decided about 15 years ago it was incredibly important in our marriage to have that time. You see, when my husband unexpectedly passed away, I became a single mom of 4 kids. And having 4 children is not easy. It's very hard. It's very trying on your marriage. So today, on this Q day, I'm going to set my phone up and see if I can successfully chat with you for a second. I just want to talk about the importance of marriage. I'm so incredibly grateful that I had the opportunity to marry my best friend and spend almost 25 years together in marriage, and 5 years before that dating. And we spent over 30 years together, well, 5.5 years. We knew each other growing up. He was my best friend. And I know I'm speaking here to tell you that our marriage wasn't perfect. There were times that we fought for our marriage because the world is against marriages. They're for self-serving things. And I'm not saying that every marriage can be saved, y'all. I'm not saying that you should stay in marriages that are abusive or things like that. But friends, marriage isn't easy. And I want to just take this minute on a Q day on this Tuesday to say, we put that date in place together to spend time together, intentional time together, because the world tried to tear us apart. If you're married and you've been married for any length of time, you know that the marriage is all about give and take. And the world teaches you to be selfish. And if he's not pleasing you, if he's not serving you, if he's not doing all these things, or vice versa, she's not this or she's not that, then the world says, leave them, go find happiness, go find, what you want in life. Friends, life isn't about what you want. Life isn't about just fulfilling your surface level needs. Life isn't about being happy all the time. Circumstances come and go. And I've used my platform to be very vulnerable about a lot of different things through my grieving. And Quinn and I had an amazing marriage, but it didn't come without a lot of really hard work and a lot of really things that we had to work through. And so about 13 years ago, we decided to step into counseling, marriage counseling, and we worked on our marriage in a lot of different ways. And 25, 30 years of being together, you do a lot of great things for each other, but you inevitably hurt one another too because of baggage and past family history or childhood trauma. And the one thing that I know, that selflessness is the way to a successful marriage. When you put God first, that's always going to be the pinnacle, root of a marriage. But you should always work to serve one another, not to be served. So we weren't perfect in this by any means, but we learned very early on in our marriage that if we served one another, we worked to outserve one another, then that is what the goal of marriage was. How hard can I serve you? How much can I serve you? Instead of looking for them to serve me, I was looking to serve them. So every time I went to go pick up something, instead of complaining about it, and I did, I'm not perfect. He wasn't perfect in this, but we were rooted and reminded that, hey, it is my honor to serve you. It is my honor. What can I do to wake up and serve you this morning? How can I make your day much easier for you? How can I serve you? Can I get up and make you breakfast if that's your jam? Can I get up and help set your stuff out? Can I, it's not about what can I do for me? It's about how we can serve one another. And so about 13 years ago, we hit a really difficult valley in our marriage, where we had to give a lot of grace and forgiveness to one another. And we needed some help. We knew that we wanted to save our marriage. We knew that we were pro-marriage. We knew that we wanted to keep our marriage together. And some of those things I'll probably never share publicly. But the things that we went through were really, really difficult, really, really hard. And we fought for our marriage when the world tried to tear us apart. When the world said, go be happy because he doesn't treat you right, or go be happy because she's always absent and ignores you, or go be happy because that's not the spouse that you need in your life. You're not being fulfilled. No, the Lord says to us, like, what are you doing to lay down your cross every day and serve one another? And so I understand going into this year, there's a lot of hurting marriages, a lot of hurting marriages. I'm experiencing grief, a very deep grief and a loss of my spouse, but I know there are other people out there that are also dealing with grief of spouses or marriages that you feel that are completely lost, or you feel like they're completely like barren and there's no way, there's no hope for your marriage. And I just want to come on here this morning on my Q day and say there's hope. There is hope. And so I can give you a couple of pieces of advice. Number one, give it to God. Pray about it. Don't nag about it. Don't talk to your friends about it. The last thing you want to do is call up your mom and tell her all your dirty laundry about your husband. You just need to bring it to the cross and surrender it to Jesus and say, make him a new person. And that make me a new person. Give me a new heart. Give me a new mindset. Renew my mind each and every morning. It even says that in scripture. Make me a new heart to serve him, to love him in a way that he needs to be loved. Because most of us are dealing with childhood things. Most of us are dealing with traumas that maybe not major traumas, but things, baggage in our life that we haven't been able to successfully put down. And marriage is to be fought for. So if you're listening to this, I don't even know why I decided to talk about this morning. I was just getting ready in the shower and God said, talk about marriage. And I was like, I don't want to talk about marriage because I don't have one anymore. How do I have a platform to talk about marriage? But I'm telling you, we fought for our marriage and we won. We fought hard and we won. And so a couple of things. I'm going to share something in the post below. I'd love for you to be able to read it and just, I believe it's the number one thing that makes your marriage fail. So I hope you take the time to read that here in just a moment. But I also want to recommend that if you're not in a study together, reading the Bible and praying together, and I know it feels really weird to do that with your spouse sometimes if you haven't been doing that, if that foundation hasn't been that. But I want to encourage you. Quinn and I, when we dove in and we did counseling, we started this study group with a mentor of ours, and it was Pray Big for Your Marriage. I highly recommend this book. It's a hard book. But it helps you to have conversations that maybe you wouldn't have had before. It's a 31-day prayer guide. And it talks about praying big, hairy, audacious prayers for your marriage. So when you think all is lost, friends, it's not lost. Pick this book up, even if you have to do it by yourself. Pick it up and start reading through it and start praying for your spouse. Start praying for you to have a renewed mindset of servitude. Pray to drop the selfish desires. Pray that you would, that God would give your spouse a new heart. If there's things in there that you think that need to be cleaned out, or you know that's no good, but pray big, hairy, audacious prayers is what this book talks about, and it guides you on how to do that. I highly recommend each spouse getting a copy if you're doing it together. But don't wait for your spouse, friends. Don't wait until it's his idea, or don't wait for him to be God called men to be the spiritual leader in the household. But if your man, if your spouse, if your husband is not the spiritual leader in the household, then pray for those things that you want in his life. Pray for those specific traits, and you step into that. And I promise you, when you surrender it to God, God will start to turn your mess into his message. And so I don't know why I wanted to talk about marriage this morning, and maybe that's you. And if you're struggling in your marriage, like I said, I didn't feel like I had a platform for that because who am I to speak? I'm a widow. But I did have 25 years of experience, and then lots of trying times for our marriage. It was imperfectly perfect. He was my best of friend, and we fought hard, and we won. Ultimately, we won. And so I want to encourage you. I don't know if that's you. I don't know if you're struggling this morning. I don't know if your marriage is a mess right now, and you're going into the new year thinking, oh, the only thing that we can do is separate or get divorced. I just want to encourage you to stick with it. Take this next year and just learn to serve him, serve her. If you're having a mess of a situation, I don't know, just comment below. You don't have to tell me your story, but I just want to know that this message is not falling on deaf ears, that God had me share this for a reason this morning when I felt very strongly in the shower. So I'm gonna link, I'll link this little book below, or give you a little picture of it below. Pray Big for Your Marriage. Highly recommend it. Don't wait for your spouse to get started. Just get started. But if your spouse is gonna do it with you, get 2 copies. And something that I wrote up about how I feel like this is the #1 thing that destroys marriages. I'm gonna put that in the links below. All right, have a good one. Happy Q Day.